Okay, so this is just a random video. It's also a test of this new camera I borrowed. Looks a bit dark here maybe. So yeah, I'm testing this camera and I just had some random thoughts that I thought I might share. I have a bit of a cold. You'll probably hear it in my voice, but oh well. So yeah, I was watching a video by Chess Network. I'm a big chess fan. I'm very bad at it, but I love the idea behind it. Anyway, so it was this match between, I think it was Boris Spassky and Petrosian, and Jerry from Chess Network was telling us about a certain move that he thought was really special because he felt that it was a move a beginner would play, but a more advanced player would not, because he'd see all the potential problems that arise from this move. So the thing was, a beginner would play the move, a more advanced player would not, and then Mr. Petrosian, renowned grandmaster, plays this move anyway. So how come there's this move that an advanced player wouldn't play but a champion actually does? And it had to do with the way that a champion can think even further and shut down the problems that arise from this move, even though it looks kind of iffy. So what is the connection to music, right? I was thinking there are a lot of people that in music, they have a breakthrough hit and they do something really naive. They use some kind of sound that scrape. So anyway, there are like young producers, they break through, they have this big hit with a sound or something happens in the track that you would probably say as a pro or as a seasoned producer, like you can't do that, because you're inviting a lot of problems into your song, into your mix. You're gonna create equalization problems or your arrangement problems or something that's wrong with using this kind of sound or this kind of trick or whatever it is. But they do it anyway because they don't, these kids or these producers, they don't know better. They just want to make music that's fun. They just want to, they hear a sound, they hear something that they think like, yeah, that's cool, and they use it anyway. And because it's really spontaneous and it's really out there, these tracks sometimes become big hits. I have the same thing. If I listen to my really old stuff, there are moments that I think, what am I doing? But it's so much fun. It's a cool thing that happens. And even in tracks that I've released, sometimes I do things that are maybe not, not really sound, as in not very well planned out. But they work because they're cool, because they're fun. And then ran into this myself as well. You start to learn about EQ, about compression, about arrangement, and you start to be a lot more careful. You start to pick out your sounds better, you pick out the synths better, think better about the arrangement, and because of that, you run into less problems. It's better planned out. The mix is smoother, the master works out better, the sound quality goes up, and it feels like you're making better music. You're making music on a higher level. But then to continue the analogy with the chess move, that a grandmaster plays this move anyway, right? So maybe the next step above being an evolved producer is doing these naive things anyway, doing this silly sound riff, whatever that doesn't work, that doesn't sound right, doing it anyway, but being prepared to deal with the consequences and being able to do that in such a way that it works, that you have the naive appeal of this thing you did, of your subject material that maybe isn't completely right but is fun, it grabs attention, and at the same time you can deal with it in a way that you say, all right, I'm going to build the mix around the sound, and maybe it will sound quirky, or but whatever, this is it, this is going to be the final product because this is what I meant it to be. And then the hope is that the track you end up with has this spontaneous feeling, this naive, brashness that you would get from a beginning producer, but molded into a professional product. And I think that would be an ideal way to go about producing this. That way you can try to have this attention-grabbing potential hit that some producers who have no idea what they're doing, they have, while some that are very seasoned and very professional just lack, seem to have a sort of blandness. Anyway, just a random rant, something I was thinking about. I hope it made sense to you. I'm not sure how to summarize it. Maybe it's don't discard an idea or a sound or a riff or a synth because you feel that it'll run into problems later on before just trying it out. Just be silly, go with it and see what happens. And that way maybe your track will have some funkiness that you might have lost otherwise. Anyway, this was Ophidian, and I'll see you soon in the next video.